It's always fun to see different beauties represented by different cultures. You get to in a specific nation, you get to experience different rainbow of cultures, right? So Turkey has always a different vibe. Turkey embodies both human and non-human forms together.
You're listening to Speaking of Language, a podcast recorded at the Language Resource Center at Cornell University. Each week, we explore a topic related to language pedagogy and second language acquisition. This week, on Speaking of Language,
we talk all things Turkey and the Turkish program at Cornell.
Welcome to a new episode of Speaking of Language. I'm Angelika Kramer, the director of the Language Resource Center at Cornell University.
And I'm Sam Lupowitz, the LRC's media manager. We have Dr. Pelin Kumbet Cagman and Banu Ozer Griffin in our studio today. Pelin is a visiting scholar from Kocaeli University in Turkey, and Banu is the head of Cornell's Turkish program. Or, for those of our listeners who recall episode 4 from this season, she is the Turkish program.
We will talk about Turkish culture, posthumanism, and Turkish caricatures today.
Welcome to Speaking of Language, Pelin and Banu.
Hi. Thanks for having us today.
Thank you.
Well, we're looking forward to our chat here today. But before we dive into all things Turkey, we would like to hear from you about yourselves, what you do here at Cornell, and what your own path with languages looks like. Pelin, why don't you get us started?
Sure. I'm Pelin. I'm a visiting scholar at the Department of Literatures and English here. Mm-hmm. I've been doing my research for the last 2 years on the intersections between environmental justice and reproductive justice represented in science fiction genre within the framework of posthumanism. Thanks to Banu, I got a chance to give Turkish language classes here and also with the support of the Department of Near Eastern Studies. And we are together organizing Turkish cultural events and activities to promote and to offer the diversity and to richness of Turkish culture and to especially help students, faculty, or any other people who would be interested in learning more about Turkish culture, which would help them in their own field or in their own major.
Yeah. So, what's your own background with languages? Obviously, you speak English and Turkish.
Yeah. My background is, in fact, not about the language per se. Like my department is my BA, my MA, and my PhD is all in English literature, English language and literature. But I have always been interested in learning different languages. My French is a little. I speak a little French, a little German. When I was teaching at Kocaeli University, I had a chance to get a certificate on teaching Turkish as a second language. And the reason why I decided to take this certificate and do a little bit Turkish teaching was because Kocaeli University started a kind of master's and PhD program for students who were coming from especially third world countries like Bangladesh, like African students. And in order for them to do some master's and PhD, they had to learn the basic Turkish, especially academic Turkish, because they were supposed to write an essay, an article to complete their PhD and master's in certain field. So I helped them a lot, and I did my training, and I also had a chance to taught Turkish on campus as well.
Yeah, nice. Wonderful. Banu, what about you?
What do I do in Cornell? So it's a long story if you're ready for it. When I first met my husband in Turkey, I was teaching English at a university. And then I started teaching Turkish to my husband. And then I started thinking, why don't I do this as a profession? And then I got into teaching Turkish I had a master's degree on old Turkic languages and literature, and then I started teaching Turkish to foreigners and FLAS students and some, scholars on doing research on Ottoman history and etc. So this path took me to another section in my life where I ended up in the U.S. and got this job, and I started the Turkish program here. There was a Turkish program, but it wasn't consistent, and it was like 1 year on, 1 year off kind of thing. And now it is stable. It is improving. Thanks to the support of NES, of course. And it's been 8 years now, and here I am.
Yeah. So what about your own background with languages? Also, obviously, English and Turkish.
Yes. I tried to learn German, but it was so hard. And I think our teacher wasn't, up to date in teaching methods.
Yeah.
Well, in high school, I started actually learning English when I was like 10 years old because it was a system thing in Turkey. You could go to this special high schools where you could start learning early. And I got all my classes in English, chemistry, maths, and everything. And in high school, I had a little bit of taste of French, which I loved. But they stopped offering French, so it just, didn't go anywhere. And in university, it was German and 2 years of German, and I didn't learn much because the articles were very hard. Please forgive me.
Who needs articles?
Anyways, well, I will start again, though.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So that's my adventure with languages. But then I focused on Old Turkic languages in my master's program. And then I learned Ottoman Turkish. And that was it.
Okay.
All right. So, Pelin, you talked a bit about your role on campus as a visiting scholar. What are some highlights of your time here so far? Are there classes or events you've been particularly excited about? Tell us what you're enjoying.
I've been enjoying it a lot. I am working with Professor Laura Braun from the Department of Literatures in English. We have been doing fantastic work together, and I've been writing an article on environmental toxicity represented in 20th century fiction. And we were discussing about that. And currently I am enrolled in one of her PhD classes. We are doing workshop. It's on counterhuman imaginary, which is a fantastic course, and we have been having a great time. And we are applying some theoretical aspects of affect theory, non-human studies, like human animal studies, and posthumanism, and so many things that we do in the class, and it's been great, and it's been so rewarding so far.
That's wonderful. So Banu, tell us a little bit more. We already heard that you were a big part of making sure that Pelin is actually visiting our campus. Tell us more how you were involved with this, how this all came about.
Well, Pelin reached out to our chair, Deborah Starr, and she asked if any way that she could, help us with the Turkish classes. And at that point, I was like looking for someone to help me, actually, and it just turned out perfectly. And then we got together with Deborah's permission, and she is also very supportive about this. I want to thank her. And we got together, and then we decided to hold these events every 2 weeks, promoting Turkish culture and language. And we just didn't want it to be a lecture-wise events. We wanted them to be a different kind of events, like game nights, trivia nights, some lectures or some documentaries, seeing and stuff like that. And that's how we planned it, and we're now doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're in the midst of it.
Great.
Amazing. Well, Pelin, you gave a talk on campus last month where you discussed how Turkey acts as a bridge in our world. Can you tell us and our listeners more about this?
I always believe that Turkey is not just a bridge across different cultures, but also it is the embodiment of different cultures. It includes not just West and East, not just literally, because Turkey literally and geopolitically acts as a bridge, but also in terms of culturally, historically, and religiously, it also acts as a bridge by embodying different cultures, by hosting different varieties and different religions and different all kinds of aspects are there in Turkey, and it's a great tapestry and it's a great mosaic, and it's always fun to see different beauties represented by different cultures. You get to in a specific nation, you get to experience different rainbow of cultures, right? So, and Turkey has always a different vibe. That's how I believe, and it embodies not just the nation-wise or human people-wise, but also Turkey embodies both human and non-human forms together, West and East. So I think it is just not. It's a melting point for all dualisms, dualistic thinking, and different cultures, different forms of lives as well.
That's what we're trying to do in the events, to show people how different cultures get together and then,
form a mosaic.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So if there is one thing that you would like our listeners to take away about Turkey, what would that be other than that rainbow of culture or, that mosaic?
Turkish language is not that hard to learn. Take Turkish.
Yeah, there we go.
You heard it here on Speaking of Language.
And Turkish TV series is so fun.
Yes, that is true.
Oh, I like it. That's good.
Fantastic. Well, Pelin, your academic work also focuses on posthumanism. Can you give us a summary of what you investigate in that work?
It's a great question, and it's very hard to answer.
Yeah, I know it's a broad question.
Yeah,
but.
it's a very broad one, and basically, or in simple terms, posthumanism is a very recent theoretical framework that deconstructs the understanding of human autonomy and human superiority over environment, over nature, over other species. So basically, posthumanism does that in order to give a chance to other, in order to give other species or other forms or other demarginalized or underrepresented groups a voice to represent themselves. So it is a theoretical framework that not just human beings are at the center, but other voices, animal voices, other species, environment, the voices coming from the nature are also taken to the mainstream. They were underrepresented, underprivileged, or they were disregarded, or they were othered before. So posthumanism is a theory that gives a chance for other underrepresented or disregarded groups a chance to give themselves a chance to, represent themselves or have some kind of a voice.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I intend to use posthumanist theory in my work as a ways to explore environmental issues, climate issues, how nature that were always seen as a secondary in the dualistic thought, like, culture, nature. Nature was always, subdued, was always, behind the culture. But in my work, I use nature as a as a agentic force, as a powerful voice, to have an agency to speak for itself. So
nice, that's great. So switching gears here a little bit, Banu, you recently worked on a project that incorporated Turkish caricatures into your teaching. Can you tell us more about this project? What did you do? What did those caricatures look like?
Yes, obviously, that was a great project funded by the LRC. Thank you, guys. All right. The caricature culture in Turkey is a very old culture. I mean, I remember myself reading those caricature magazines. They're weekly, by the way, when I was not even were able to write and read. And I thought it would be very, very, crucial for me to be able to read, because they are they are fantastic, and they are like, people would count the days for the next issue. It's a big part of culture, and I thought nobody was using these caricatures. So I thought about this project where I take the caricatures from different periods, because caricatures reflect the social atmosphere and the political atmosphere of the week. So I thought that would be a great opportunity for people that don't know Turkish history that well to see some examples of it. So what I did was I went to the archives and collected caricatures from different periods, starting from the Ottoman era with Ottoman writing, Ottoman script. And the first one was, I think, about the population exchange. And taking from there, every 10 years, I chose one caricature, and then there was an explanation underneath the caricature. Of course, nobody knows Ottoman Turkish, so I had to translate that. But then I also had to give the context. What is this population exchange, and why did it happen? And then I would ask them to reflect their thoughts on this caricature and ask some questions, discussion questions about that caricature. And I actually gathered 25 caricatures like that. I intended to publish it, but I didn't get there yet. I will.
Exactly.
It's an ongoing project. And the thing about the copyrights, I know it's going to come. I actually reached out to the people who drew the caricatures, and it is very hard to get them through social media and stuff. And it's very hard to find emails. But I managed to find some, and they were like very helpful. They're like, go for it. This is for education. You can use it.
Wonderful.
And I'm keeping those emails.
Yes, good.
Yeah, and that's how we did it. It was a section in the classroom, but it was really interesting. They really learned a lot.
And I bet the students enjoyed that type of medium too, right?
Yes.
A little bit of a departure of the regular textbook. And
yes, exactly. It was really fun.
Isn't it interesting to, follow the trajectory of politics in Turkey while looking at those,
absolutely,
at those pictures? Because politics is everything in Turkey, and it changes enormously over time. And in just looking at one caricature, you get to learn a lot in terms of politics.
It's a weekly recap of the society. That's what it is.
Interesting.
So cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Any other projects or upcoming events you would like to share with our listeners?
That's a good question. So many things are going on in my mind right now. Thanks to Banu, I can spit out on her, and I get to learn a lot from her, like in terms of our culture, in terms of Turkish literature, in terms of Turkish socio-political life, and what can we do, and so that we can also help some issues to be resolved, and how these issues that we are struggling with in Turkey are also global issues. So how can we address these issues, and how can we help people understand what's going on in that part of the world, and how can we help people correlate with their own lives, and how can we also use literature or geography or food, Turkish food, or any Turkish documentary events or cooking, anything like how can use these as a medium to help people see this diversity, this mosaic, and how they can appreciate this mosaic. So we are trying to put our heads together and try to extend what we are doing. Hopefully we will be collaborating more.
Yeah.
And
Wonderful.
I'm so happy that she helps me pick up her brains.
Yeah. Nice. I like it. Well, and Banu, on your end, are there any things in the Turkish program that are coming up, or any other things that you are working on that you would like to share with our listeners?
Well, I have, this year I'm incorporating topic-based lessons in my intermediate class. Again, a project supported by LRC. Thanks to LRC.
Yep.
Anyways, this time I chose different topics that has never been done before, like gestures, mimics.
Oh, interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like superstitions. Like I've never seen one Turkish book dealing with this issue, topic. So I'm trying to incorporate those into my lessons. What I do is, like, I complete the book unit, and then we start with my worksheets, and and then they have to present a project or a paper or a presentation. Something like that. So that's new. On the other hand, I'm also writing a book on colloquial Turkish, and I have to finish it by June.
Yeah, nonchalantly, she says, I'm writing a book. It has to be done by June.
Anyways, that's another project, but that takes most of the time, of course.
Yeah, sure.
And what else do I do?
There are so many upcoming events.
Yeah, upcoming events. We also have upcoming events, a documentary night, and everything needs lots of planning.
Absolutely.
So it keeps us busy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's good. Keeps you out of trouble too.
Yeah, we'll keep on expanding that.
Yeah, great.
Fantastic. Well, it's been so great to chat with both of you. Before we sign off, we would like to ask each of you to share a word in a language you speak, love, are learning, want to learn, that feels good to say. What's that word for each of you?
I would like to say a word that is in Turkish, which do not have a translation in English. That's why I like it, because it embodies so many things. Normally, English is much richer than Turkish, but this is the word that you can't find the exact one in English, which you yearn for in English, which is kolay gelsin. It means take it easy, and it embodies take it easy. You also wish best of luck, and also you have sort of empathy with the other person who is whatever she or he is doing, and you want to say that like, may God help you in any way. So
nice,
hopefully you manage that. You give the support, and you share your sympathies and empathy with that person, and also you wish the best of luck. That's the word. Yeah.
More of that in the world. That's beautiful.
Banu, what about you?
I'm going to say kartoffel.
I love it.
Fantastic.
That doesn't only feel good to say, but that also tastes so delicious.
Excellent.
Well, this was delightful. We learned so much. We are grateful that both of you are on campus. And thank you so much for speaking of language with us today, Pelin and Banu.
Thank you for inviting us.
you.
That was lovely.
Yeah, it was fantastic to be here. Thank you. And please make it a habit.
There we go. I like it.
Tune in next week to hear from Dr. Kasia Bartoszyńska about translation, anti-racism, and her recent book, Estranging the Novel. Until then,
Auf Wiederhören.
The Language Resource Center is located on the ground floor of Stimson Hall on Cornell's main campus in Ithaca, New York. Check us out on the web at lrc.cornell.edu.
and follow Cornell LRC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Speaking of Language is produced by Angelika Kramer and Sam Lupowitz.
Recorded by Sam Lupowitz.
Original music by Sam Lupowitz, Dan Gable, and Joe Gibson.
Thanks also to the College of Arts and Sciences at Cornell University.
As a reminder, the ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect those of the College of Arts and Sciences or any other official entity of Cornell University.
We thank our listeners, and do stay tuned for our next episode.